So, I'll stick to the bar and tell them. Go on,
Genius at work. World snooker champion Shaun.
Good evening and welcome to your latest edition of Snooker Live. Quarter-final Wednesday here at the Crucible is normally quite good. Sometimes it's very good. Today has been absolutely extraordinary and we still have one match to finish tonight. Pause for breath, we're going to take you through it match by match. I'm joined by Django Fung, one of the most well-respected snooker managers in the business. Django, first of all, there is so much to talk about. Let's do the fairly steady stuff, if we can call it that, first of all. Mark Selby came out with a handsome lead over Alan the Angles McManus. Alan really struggled in the second session of that match. We expected Selby to wrap it up quickly, and that's exactly what he did, 13-5.
Yeah, I don't expect anything less than from Mark there. He's done a really professional job on Alan, and they finished the job very quickly today.
Some people will be surprised that it'll be Mark's first semi-final for 4 years, considering the class he's got and the number of Masters titles he's won and the great ranking event finals he's contested. He was due another semi-final, wasn't he?
Oh, he's well overdue. I mean, if you look at Mark's result, you know, sometimes he wins a lot of matches that even when he's not playing well. But today he actually had a very good lead against Alan, and he did a very, very professional job on him.
He did. So his day was over without too much drama, and we grabbed a word or two with him after the main press conference. Mark Selby into another Crucible semi-final. Here were his thoughts post-presser.
Well, Mark, your first Crucible semi-final for 4 years. You must be delighted to be back at the one-table setup here.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, it doesn't seem really that long ago. I mean, obviously with the amount of tournaments now, we don't really have that much time for rest, so it doesn't really seem 4 years ago, but obviously it is, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there.
It's a weird situation in a way, a good one from your perspective, to come out 12-4 up against Alan, knowing you just need a single frame. The match is all but over.
Yeah, it was a strange one because you know that you're going to get over the line. It's just a matter of when, not if. But also at the same time, I knew Alan was just going to go out there relaxed, let his arm go, and he's more than capable of going on a good run and making frame-winning breaks and taking the match on for a lot longer. But thankfully enough for me, I managed to get over the line, and it was just a matter of being patient, really.
It's funny the way the tournament's building for you, because you had a bit of a squeaky one in the decider against Michael White, and then slowly there's momentum coming to your game and your progress.
Yeah, I feel as though I played better match by match against Michael White. Like you say, yeah, it was a close one, and I could have even been going out first round. But sometimes in the World Championships, matches like that seem to inspire you, and sometimes you need a match like that in the earlier rounds to give you a kickstart. So thankfully enough, I managed to come on the right end of that, and I'm still in the tournament.
So, any preferences, Judd or Neil Robertson? And that's a really strange match because Robertson was absolutely sensational against Mark Allen, but Judd has absolutely got the momentum as we speak. He's leading 6-2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind who I play. I'll go in there confident, believing that I can win, as long as I just concentrate on my own game. But yeah, I mean, Judd's 6-2 in front at the moment, but Neil's more than capable of doing exactly the same to him, so I don't think that match is over yet.
Well, you've got to be in it to win it, and you still are, so congratulations.
Cheers, Rob.
Confident words there from Mark Selby, and why not? His tournament seems to be warming up nicely. He'll play the winner of Judd Trump and Neil Robertson. More about that match in a little while, because they're coming back out live at 7 o'clock, and boy, what a conclusion that one will be. It's the only match tonight, for the very simple reason that the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan came out 6-2 ahead against the former world champion Shaun Murphy, and he absolutely took him apart, bearing in mind that the Magician won the first 2 frames of that match yesterday, and Ronnie required a snooker for the 3rd frame, which he got. He rattled off 6 unreplied frames yesterday for a 6-2 advantage, but nobody would have thought he would demolish Shaun with a session to spare. That was quite some win, 13-3 for Ronnie over Shaun. Were you surprised at that second session this morning?
I still can't believe it. You know, when Shaun was actually 2-0 up in the match, and basically he actually lost 13-3 for the end of the match, and it's incredible. And I was expecting a tougher match for Ronnie. You know, when Shaun has been playing well, it seems to me that his strategy was to attack Ronnie. But if you do want to attack Ronnie, you've got to pot the balls. It seems to me when he actually get to 6-2, he's obviously disappointed. You know, to Shaun's credit, he's stuck to his task and still trying to pot his way out. But Ronnie just mopping up the frames, you know, as he go along.
Well, I mean, it's important we remind ourselves that Shaun Murphy is a class player. He won the World Open last month, which you know, he'd waited 3 years, I think, for his 5th ranking title. We know all about the World Crown as a qualifier in 05. But that World Open gave him a lot of confidence coming here. He works very hard on his game. But Ronnie made a world-class player like Murphy look average today.
Yes, I mean, it seems to me that Shaun was a little bit too one-dimensional to me throughout the match. And at times, throughout the match, Ronnie was looking for a little bit more challenge, and they didn't get it. They looked a bit bored at the end. But it's you know, still a class act for Ronnie, you know, just to beat a class player 13-3. You can't argue about it. You know?
I know, and he's now got the benefit of this evening off before he comes back for
I wonder what he's going to do tonight.
Go to bed early. He said he's going to fiddle with his tip. That's TIP to make sure he's ready to go for the opening session of his semi-final, which will kickstart the semis tomorrow afternoon. But we managed to grab a couple of minutes with the Rocket after his press conference, following that 13-3 victory over Shaun in his quarter-final.
Ronnie, into another semi-final here. There have been so many, and to do it with a session to spare, more rest time tonight.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have the evening off. You know, now I can, get ready for the match that starts tomorrow afternoon.
It looked as though Shaun was really up for it yesterday, 2-0 up, and then you required a snooker for the 3rd. And when you got in and put 6 on the spin and finished with 1-3-6 yesterday, did you think, OK, I've turned this one around?
Yeah, 6-2 is a real big lead to have, really, you know, and even though there's still a long way to go, you know, you kind of got 4 frames ahead, and as long as you can come out and just keep applying the pressure, then it's hard for your opponent to get back into the game.
He had his chances in the match. Do you think he almost sort of let you off the hook in the early stages?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's scoring really well in the first 2, and if he could have continued playing like that, then maybe he would have had a 6-2, 7-1 lead. But you know, like at this level and this standard of play, you know, if you don't keep that pressure up, then you're always, you know, there's a danger that your opponent can kind of turn the tables on you as well.
When you're in a 17-day snooker marathon, how much of an advantage is it when you have got a session to spare? It's an early night, it's a break from the mental fatigue, or does it not really make a huge deal of difference?
Nah, it don't really make much difference. You know, you don't want to be. I wouldn't want to keep having matches like I had against Joe Perry, where you're kind of under pressure for the majority of the match. So, you know, as long as you're not kind of coming back from the dead all the time, then you know, playing session after session is never normally a problem, really.
It could be a rerun of last year's final. It looks as though Barry will get across the line against Dominic Dale, and he was good in that final. He played some good snooker last year.
Yeah, he played brilliant snooker. You know, he played some unbelievable snooker. I mean, because I played really well. You know, I think I had 6 centuries and numerous 80s and 90s in that match, and you know, I couldn't really play much better than that. And and he made it tough for me. So you know, I thought before this tournament started that he was definitely going to be a danger man, and he's proving that. You know, he seems to have the temperament in the game that suits this long marathon, if you like. You know, you get marathon runners and you get sprinters, and I think Barry's got that game that can kind of just keep churning out frame after frame. It doesn't take much out of him, and he just goes about his business and doesn't get affected by much.
And just finally, even from an MC perspective, the one-table setup's really, really special. Do you still get the buzz? I mean, I think it's your 11th or 12th Crucible semi-final. Will you still get that feeling of adrenaline and the sense of occasion when you step out for your semi-final?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're talking about the one-table setup of the Crucible now. It doesn't get any better, really. You know, the two-table's fantastic. But obviously, now it's down to the one-table. You know, you're really at the business end of the tournament, and you know, it's all to play for.
Thanks, Ronnie. Well done.
Cheers, thanks.
So Ronnie, with the benefit of a night off, and you heard there that he will be fired up for his semi-final, and we can now confirm, if you haven't happened to be following the action all afternoon, it was an incredible, absolutely incredible match between Barry Hawkins and Dominic Dale. Dominic came out trailing 11-5. He then ran off the most amazing run of frames to go 12-11 up, and then Barry came back, took the last two, so it is going to be a rerun of last year's final in that semi. But Django, all credit to Dominic Dale for making that such an incredible match. Nobody would have believed from 11-5 down that match this afternoon would end up going to a decider.
No, I still can't believe it. I mean, Barry's a top player, and it's been here many times. He got to the final last year. And for him to actually win 7 frames on the bounce against Barry, the top player, it's incredible. But all credit has to go to Barry. You know, the manner he actually finished the frame off. He had 2 immaculate breaks to finish that match off. You know, it just shows you that how good player Barry Hawkins actually is now.
And it was a fantastic example of how the psychology of the game changes, because Dominic comes out trailing 11-5. He's got nothing to lose, really. He can go, and if he takes a couple of frames, it's a bonus. All of a sudden, he goes 12-11 up, and then he's the one under pressure again, and Barry suddenly can play with a little bit of freedom and a little bit of belief. It was truly fascinating.
Well, I still want to watch that the last 2 or 3 frames again, but I didn't think that Dominic actually did a lot wrong in the last 2 or 3 frames. But Barry was just too good, you know, with the experience he had, and you know, make that 2 break under pressure.
Yeah, it was incredible. So all credit to both of those players. There was a standing ovation in the Crucible, and rightly so. The crowd who stayed with it all afternoon were very much rewarded with a great contest. So, because of Ronnie finishing against Shaun Murphy a session early, we have 2 players who are looked after by Django going for it tonight. Judd Trump. Well, Judd was brilliant in the first session against Neil Robertson, coming in today leading 6-2, but it's 9-6 when they come back tonight. Neil's come back into that one a little bit. You manage them both. You know them both so well. They've both been in World Championship finals before. They've both won the UK title. They are absolutely top-class players. Judd has the advantage, but there's not much to choose between them.
No, I think Judd had a good lead yesterday with 6-2 scoreline. You can see what sort of player that Neil Robertson is, and he can come back, you know, almost can close the gap a little bit more today. But unfortunately, they have to stop play. But at the end of the day, Judd has still got a 9-6 lead, which is a 3-frame lead over Neil. But you never know. But Neil, you know, you could see it from Neil already against Mark Allen. He's come out in the evening session. He played 4 immaculate frames and won all 4 frames in the match from then on. So you never underestimate Neil, and I think this match is going to go to the wire.
From your perspective, you've obviously got a good relationship with both guys, and that they enjoy being in your stable. How on earth do you balance that when it comes to the deciding session of a quarter-final with a place in the semis at stake on the sport's biggest stage? How do you balance the fact that you've got an interest and a friendship with both players who are going to come out in, 25 minutes' time to try and get that last spot in the semi?
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm staying away from both of them. I said to both of them today, yesterday I said, Yon, I'm staying out of this one. You know, I'm a good friend of both of them, and Neil was the first player that I actually managed. And obviously I get a bit more closer with Judd in the last 3 years, but I always get in touch with Neil over the years. And both players are a little bit different in hobbies, but they're very, very similar in nature. They're both very kind and relaxed, likable people, and it's been a joy to working with both of them.
Well, and absolutely, as you said, you've got to sit on the fence this evening. One way or another, you'll have one player that you'll need to pat on the back and console, and there'll be another one who you'll be supporting in the semi-final tomorrow.
I know that they actually play each other, because there's so many tournaments on now, and from time to time they do play each other, maybe in the PTC or something. But this is big stage. This is for a place in the semi-final of the World Championship. They both really, really want it, and I want one of them to win it, but I can only have one person to go through.
Well, thanks very much, Django. I know it's going to be a nervy night for you. So here's the lineup for the semis. We have Ronnie OSullivan against Barry Hawkins, a rerun of last year's final, and then tonight we have Judd Trump or Neil Robertson fighting for the right to take on the jester from Leicester, Mark Selby, in the other semi-final. This year's Dafabet World Championship is absolutely coming alive at just the right time. Well, you pays your money, you takes your choice if you want to go with Judd or Neil Robertson tonight. One thing is absolutely certain: it will be a cracking end to what has already been an amazing day of drama. We'll dissect it all tomorrow as we welcome the semi-finals in to the Crucible. It's the sports showcase, showpiece, showdown, and it's absolutely delivering on every single level. That's all for now. Bye-bye.
Good night.
World Snooker Champion, John Higgins!